Well, hello there.
Hello
Uh,
there.
Hello.
can you hear us? Can you send a message if the technique is working? Yes, I see good response from our main man Lars Maat. Sound
Great.
and image is great, so that is great to hear. I think it's good to wait a little moment to join people. And then we can start in, I think, a minute or two or so. So if you need to grab a drink, go ahead, and then we start in 2 minutes.
Awesome.
Are you sitting at home, Bianca, or is the office?
No, this is my home.
Ah,
It's not the
great.
office.
Are you working a lot from home, or
It depends by week. Now the A12 is closed, so it's better for me to stay home.
Uh,
okay?
But usually I go to the office, I think, about 2, 3 times a week.
That sounds like a
wow.
nice balance.
Yeah,
Yeah. How's your balance
I
doing?
agree.
My balance. So this is my home office. I'm
Yeah.
here, I guess,
How many times?
90%. Yeah, 90% of the time, I guess. But this week, for example, we have a few trips in the planning. Tomorrow we go to Utrecht with the four of us, and
Oh,
the day
nice.
after I go on client visits in the east of the Netherlands. So I don't need to bore myself out over here. So it's
No.
great.
Nice. That's a good balance.
Yeah, and you rent an office over there.
I rent an office close to Alkmaar, close to the AZ Stadion, because unfortunately at home I don't have like the ideal space to set up a nice office. So I had to rent an office, or at least I wanted to rent an office because sitting at the kitchen table all the time was not very ergonomic. Isn't like the best pick.
That's
Of
exactly
course.
what I'm doing right now.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But I have a weird kind of furniture, so it's not like ideal for working with a mouse, and the seat isn't like appropriate to sit all day. For a few hours, it's
Hmm.
fine, but if I have to work like 10 hours a day, I'm getting pain in my back and those kind of complaints.
Can
Yeah.
imagine.
Yeah.
So I think we have waited long enough, and then we can dive straight into it. So let's do that. So I'd like to welcome you. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this live boardroom session. This is the second edition of Taskforce Talks. My name is Ruben Runneboom, and I will be the host of today. The idea of this session is a little bit simple. We want to bring the real industry challenges to the table to discuss them openly with our expert panel. Today it's Bianca and Quint. Um, Along the session, you are welcome to send in your questions. I will be the moderator as well. So if you have questions, I can see it over there, and then we can put it in the end of the session. And if we have time left, yeah, you can always send in other questions as well. We aim to hear till about 3 o'clock, maybe a little bit later. We have a little bit space to run a little bit later. So I'm very excited to introduce today's panel. I think it's great to start with Bianca. Maybe can you introduce yourself a little?
For sure. Thanks for having me on the way.
Of
My name is
course.
Bianca, and I'm working as a senior paid social and Google specialist at Maatwerk online marketing agency in Rotterdam. And since a few months, I'm also co-founder of the Paid Social Club, which some of you might already have heard of on LinkedIn.
Of course.
Joining this session and very curious for all the questions you have, since our work can be very challenging. So great to be talking about that.
Thanks. Thank you for the introduction. Great to have you, of course. Quint, maybe you can introduce yourself a little
Yeah,
for
sure. My
those
name
who you aren't acquainted with you.
Quint. Nice one. See what you did there.
Mhm.
My name is Quint van der Meer. I'm 31 years old, working in the online marketing space for around 8 years now. first 5, 6 years, I started working at 3 different agencies in Amsterdam, started freelancing upcoming Monday, exactly 3 years ago. Been working together with Taskforce for over 2 years ago. And since last of May, started working as managing director at Taskforce. So my focus is being shifted most part from Google Ads to more like things like PPC strategies, making sure our consultants can work more efficiently by implementing scripts, by implementing AI agents, and also making sure we can deliver a certain guarantee on quality and performance, of course. And these kind of things also are part of the job. So happy to be here.
Great to have you, of course, and always a pleasure to work with you.
Thanks.
So thank you both for the introduction. Now, before we get started, I will share the topics we'll be discussing today. I asked in the introduction if you have any questions you can send over. We did a little poll on LinkedIn to see which topics are most of top of mind of all the people. And there are a few topics that have stood out. So are the topics that we discussed early on. And if you have topics to chat about, please throw it in the comments, and then we discuss it later on. So yeah, let's start. I think it was the most asked question. I will put it in the chat as well, so you can see the topic. So basically, I'd like to start with you, Bianca. So how do you find the right balance between brand and performance when relying solely on performance metrics?
I think this is one of the main topics that a lot of marketers have been speaking about in the last couple of years. You have to rule like 80% on branding, upper funnel campaigns, and 20% on performance. But I think most of the advertisers are spending 80 to maybe 100% of their advertising budget on the performance side. And they are very hesitant to shift that over to the branding or upper funnel part of the job because it's not that good to measure. You're not sure when you're getting something back. And especially where are you going to look at? And questions that I get from my clients and also from colleagues is how do you start? And how can you convince a client or a marketing manager or the CFO to go along with your ideas? What I'd like to do is just start with a small budget, and that may sound a bit strange, but it's also for a client. And one of my clients, we started with those kind of campaigns, I think 3 years ago. We were like, okay, we just need to give a go. We do not know, do we need 5K a month? Do we need 20K a month? Maybe 1K would be enough for a certain region. We don't know. So we looked at what the percentage was of the revenue that we were spending on the performance side. Then we just choose like, okay, we're going to start with 2.5% of the revenue. That is something that we're going to allocate for upper funnel campaigns. We do not expect anything back for now. We're just going to try a few things and then see what changes we are going to see. So that's how we started in the first place. And we start with brand awareness campaigns. Do we need to focus fully on reach? Then we tried on engagement. So we were also able to retarget people who have interacted with the ads. And we saw some very interesting things, like if we were spending most of the budget on reach, and of course, the budget was spent and we've reached a lot of people, but the percentage that actually had a thumb stop was pretty small. So we were not able to retarget a lot of those people for follow-up campaigns. So with the engagement campaigns, we reached less people, but the percentage that really had a thumb stop, which we could retarget, was much higher. So we tried to do some of those campaigns parallel to each other. So we were able to focus on reaching the highest number of people that were relevant for us. Then alongside, we try to look at increase in branded searches for several regions. And on the engagement part was more to fuel up a bit of the conversion campaigns. And then for a while, we just increased the percentage of 2.5% of the revenue that we were spending on those kind of campaigns just a bit higher. And that was just with small steps. But that was a way that we felt pretty confident with. And also the CFO and the CEO over there were like, okay, this is not that big bit of the budget that we're losing now. And in a year, we really saw that the average number of orders that came in daily was increasing, and we saw that increase over all of the different channels. The hard thing is, of course, you're also doing a lot of improvements on the platform itself and in other campaigns, so you're not able to really rely on only the upper funnel and branding campaigns. But you also know if we are not doing this, the sessions will be lower and it will just drop down into all of the other channels that you'll see that from. So that's how we started doing that, and what I would also recommend for others to just start playing around with this.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to approach it. Yeah, it's always a very difficult question for, yeah, just what you said. If you need to convince the CFO or the e-commerce owner or the owner as well, yeah, how to convince to allocate budget where you can't expect any revenue directly from it. But yeah, in the end, yeah, you have to put in some money because otherwise your target audience will dry up in the end. So I'm just curious. Yeah, I think Quint have his thoughts about it as well. So let's do that first.
For sure, yeah. First of all, I really love the idea that you like actually presented it to the stakeholders as a percentage of the revenue, and also like really manage the expectations that they should consider it like lost and not expect to get like giant sales in the first or 2 days, but that you actually manage to get like a little chunk of budget to test it and make sure that it actually really works. So that's, I think, a nice note for everybody to apply that kind of strategy if you need to upsell your upper funnel campaigns internally, of course, or at your client. And regarding the question itself, what you already said, it's a really tough one, this question, because you can't really judge performance metrics like ROAS or CPA for branded related challenges. As you already mentioned, there are lots of variables, of course. If you upscale the upper funnel campaigns, sometimes the ROAS can increase in Google, for example, but you can't really pinpoint it from one to one. You want to have like a more complete picture, of course. That's why we're most of the time working with a term called the marketing efficiency rate, because some clients of us don't have like the real budget yet to use like sophisticated attribution tooling, things like Billy Grace or Kickbite, for example. So what we normally do is then try to analyze, hey, okay, what if I can maintain the budget and the ROAS target, for example, on a Google Ads platform, and I'm trying to scale the Meta ad spend, or I'm trying to scale the Pinterest or TikTok ad spend. What kind of impact do we realize on the total marketing efficiency rate? And sometimes we're noticing that an increase in spend month on month or year on year, of course, 10-20% for the branding, for the upper funnel campaigns, can actually make sure that the marketing efficiency rate is also rising. We can't make it like waterproof, but the assumption is, of course, if we're going to spend more budget on more upper funnel campaigns and we're actually seeing an increase in revenue or profit in the backend, then you can say there is a correlation, of course. And as you also mentioned, we're also sometimes trying to analyze, like with a geo split test, hey, are we seeing more branded search volumes? What are we seeing, for example, also in GA4, a higher amount of direct traffic? If we're seeing that the amount of direct traffic is risen with 30, 40, 50%, you can also say, okay, there is a correlation because people noticed our ads several times and then started looking in Google or actually started inserting the URL in the browser itself.
Yeah, I think that's the way we like to do it within Taskforce or within our clients, and always to make sure if you start with upper funnel campaigns, you can expect a little bit more and delay in your traffic and conversion from the first start, because it is upper funnel, the people aren't ready to buy, so they need a period to let it sink in, your solution or your product. So basically, we try to calculate a delay as well, because if we start today, then maybe the first results are coming in next month or a month later. Depends on the product or service, of course. So I think if you have that in count, I think that's the right way to approach it, because nobody has the right answer on this, I guess. But yeah, this is a great way to approach it. So I see Martin has a comment or question. On what time frame do you look to determine the impact on the marketing efficiency ratio? Is it something you can explain?
Good question. Yeah, I think like time isn't perhaps the most important factor in this. I think it is an important factor, but I honestly have like a preference for data. Like it could be, of course, in 1 week or in 2 weeks or in 1 month, you only have like, just say like 200 clicks. But if you have like 20,000 clicks in 1 month, then you can say, hey, 1 month is suitable enough. But for something like a marketing efficiency rate to determine like a real time frame, I personally, I always use a minimum of a month just to compare. But of course, not all months are worth comparing with each other. Of course, if you have like seasonal products, if you are trying to compare your Black Friday month with the month after of the month before, the numbers will be very weird, because there are other influences next to the upper funnel campaigns. And in the summer, more people are on holiday, so it's not really weird that there are less search volumes, for example. So it's a combination of a lot of at least traffic and clicks and impressions, of course, to make it significant. But if you're like spending 100K in 2 weeks, you could perhaps say, hey, we're already seeing an increase in 2 weeks. But personally, I always try to make it like a month on month, and ideally year on year, of course.
Yeah, and I think if you look at the majority of the tests we do at Taskforce, if we like to conduct a geo-split test, and we take at least 6 months to have some significant data, I think you need enough data to see an uplift in your brand traffic, for example, if you using their awareness campaigns. So I say at least 6 months, maybe even a year, and you can see from there.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe we can go to another topic, because now we are already 18 minutes on the way. So let's dive in.
Yeah.
So this was, I think this is a really good one. So measuring campaigns without any specific targets, just to refer deed. So I think the question is, how do you measure campaigns if you haven't set boundaries or targets from your clients? Maybe Quint, you can start this one.
Yeah, sure. I think if you don't have any specific targets for the campaigns, it's probably gonna fail due to the fact that you can't be sure if you're making a profit or a loss. Of course, you can add certain variables in it, but like to give an example is if we start a collaboration with a client, we always use our own like target break-even ROAS calculators. We created one of those to make sure that we know exactly what the margins are, what the purchase price are, what the transaction fees are, what the shipping fees are, what the fulfillment fees are, what the returning customer rate is, what the return percentage is. All those variables we put together, and then we start analyzing, hey, for these products, this is the margin, this is the return rate, etc. Then you know, for example, what a break-even ROAS you need to achieve to make sure the campaign is performing well. And I think something not all the agencies do, unfortunately, is they don't include their own fee as well. Because you can make a break-even ROAS based on everything you know from the client and the prices, but a lot of agencies don't insert the management fee for the Google Ads or Meta campaigns itself. into the break-even roles, we're trying to use that as well. So we have like a full, good focus for the campaigns to make sure they're getting a profit. And of course, you can say, I'm willing to take a loss on the first sale if we know for a fact that in the second month, somebody is coming back, making sure he's buying the same supplement of creatine, for example, in the third month and the fourth month. But then you're actually optimizing for lifetime value. But those data, those are like, if you don't have that data, it's very hard to make sure you can optimize your campaigns and make it profitable in the end.
Yeah, cool. I think that's a great approach. Bianca, how do you do that at Maatwerk Online?
Yeah, ideally, what Quint mentioned is exactly what you need in order to be able to validate if your work is worth it. But recently, I had a situation myself where we had all kind of data we could dream of for a client, and then they switched with their backend system, and everything got lost.
No.
We automated everything, so all the campaigns were optimized partly automatically. We had a lot of automated rules and reports and stuff like that. And then the only thing I was able to steer on was the data from GA4. But before we had kick-buy, we had margin data that was sent into Channable and then into the feeds and into Google Ads and so forth. So I was basically flying blind. And I think, as I said, ideally you want as much data possible. Because then you can make a lot of analysis and know, am I doing the right thing, or do I need to shift budget to make it more efficient, and where can I scale, and where should I stop immediately with? But for clients that do not have all the data available or working on the stack, and you're in the position you want to start, but you do not have everything at the time, we still need to validate, okay, what do we need to achieve minimum to be sure, like, okay, there was a good campaign. What kind of impact do we want to make? Where can we see it? Maybe we can look into soft metrics or a directional lift in some search volumes or in sales for a specific category or things like that. Just to have another conversation, and then we're trying to pinch the client as well to see what makes you actually happy, because we can of course see what a good CTR, CPA, and conversion rate is within Google Ads, but that doesn't say anything. So we're really trying to find out, can we find something, can we meet each other in the middle that works for us until we have what we actually want, and makes the client happy as well. So maybe that's a different tweak what we can do.
Yeah, I think that's the main thing you want to achieve. You want to have a happy client, and you need to know what should make him happy. So if you don't have if you don't have on point, then you can scale the campaigns further, of course. So I think that's great answers to the question. I saw here a question as well about mixed marketing modeling and how you demonstrate the incremental value of the brand efforts. I think we already talk about that in the first question. So I think it's great if we look at the time that we skipping that one. So
just
I will
perhaps just adding one little thing regarding, we already talked about it at the first question. One thing I also use for this, if you want to analyze search volumes on your branded keywords, for example, you can use like custom columns in Google Ads, and there you can like set up a custom column. I call it like estimated searches, where you actually divide your impressions by the search impression share. And then you get like a total amount of impressions that were potentially there. And that's also like a little metric you can add in your Google Ads system, where you can actually see, hey, are we actually seeing like an increase of 30%? Then that's also like one point you can add to the collection of possibilities.
That's a great one. Is that something you can share later on?
Yeah,
how
for sure.
you do it? Okay, and then I will send it over to the people who are here today. So I think that's a great hack to get some little bit more information and to set to your client or to your manager. Okay. Now we're going to talk a little bit more about peak season. Peak season is approaching, of course, with Q4, Black Friday. So this is a little bit of question about the outside the peak season. How to inform the algorithm about seasonality outside the peak season. So I think we need a little bit more inside out with this question. So maybe Bianca, I don't know if you have any thoughts about this.
Definitely. We are currently working on the preparation of peak season, like I think everybody is. Q3 is all about learning, testing, and see what works best so you can implement it for Q4 starts. But I'm working for a few clients in the pet sector, which I've
Me
talked
too.
about a lot. And what we notice is that there are a few moments during the month that sales are increasing. And also, if you're looking into different categories, you see different peaks, maybe in terms of the weather, but also if um, dogs or cats are getting sick, fleas and ticks, things like that are happening a lot. So, what we are trying to do with that kind of information, which the algorithm doesn't have, is trying to send the data with all of the information that we're sending. Of course, you have seasonality adjustments. We are able to work with value rules. We can implement weather data into Channable and take that into account with the campaigns if we're going to publish them. And then push several categories or brands depending on what is working. Right now, it's like this week it was 27 degrees. I do have a golden retriever who loves water. So I think she's not the only one, but then it also helps to probably to push more the summer kind of products for a certain period of time. And if we're going to do that manually, it will take a lot of time. So we have automated that part. And so we have created that kind of workflow for all kind of categories, product sets, based on what we've seen in historical data. And for this particular client, we have around 20 to 25,000 products, which is a lot. And then it's definitely not I'm not able to do that manually to know, oh,
Of course.
now I need to fix this kind of the assortment, and then I have to push another thing. So it took a while, and also really good collaboration with the client because they know everything about the products and what kind of category or subcategory is most suited. And for us, the ad technology to see how can we automate this part so we do not have to think about it anymore.
That's great.
Nice.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
the way how to approach it. Is it something people, if they have questions, they can ask you, for example, on LinkedIn,
For sure.
to look further with that? Maybe you can help them
Definitely.
out because I think every retailer has the same questions about that one. I know for a fact that here are people in this session that are coping with the same challenges. So if you have
Yeah.
questions, guys, then you maybe can ask Bianca for this one.
Yeah. Great.
Quint,
Almost
what
all
are
my
your
points.
additions on
Yeah,
that one?
almost all my points were already shared by Bianca, so that's great to hear. Perhaps one little addition. What we also try to do is like, funny enough, I also have a web shop in the pet branch. So I'm very curious which one is yours. And of course in October we have like International Animal Day, Black Friday, etc. But what I also try to do, that's something I also learned from Bob Meyer in the PPC Hub. He once shared, I think it was last year as well. Like, of course, you have like the seasonality bid adjustments and the value rules. Normally, it's okay to do it if you have a little products and do it manually, of course. But as you mentioned, if you have like those big assortments of products, it's not it's not working to do that manually. So what's also possible is to like extract your Google Ads data, and compare the conversion rates for certain products with the period before the sales slash action slash peak season and at the how do you say it, at the current period. So if you can take a look at last year Black Friday data and take a look at the month before that, and you didn't have any weird peak season or sales period, you can compare the conversion rates, compare as well the click prices, other things, and try to let Claude or ChatGPT or Gemini or whatever everybody's using nowadays analyze it and give an advice based on, hey, which products are now actually converting like twice the best. Then you want to make sure that those products can be like for example the target ROAS can be doubled, because if you know your conversion rate is being doubled, you can also theoretically, of course, disclaimer, you can double your target ROAS to make sure that you still have the same ROAS but twice the volume. And those kind of products, I try to extract those, set them in different campaigns, and make sure to bid very aggressively on them with those seasonality bid adjustments, of course, as well. And then after, you want to make sure that it's being undone, so it's not gonna think that it's still having those average high conversion rates to make sure the algorithm gets back on track again.
I think that's a great addition to that part. I have some other topics as well sent in from the participants. I can do a little poll, and then you can, if it's right, then you can click on it to upvote or downvote. I don't know if you see, do you guys see something or not?
I don't see a poll yet.
Not yet.
Okay, then it isn't working like I thought. Publish poll.
Yeah, it's here.
Is there?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. I will not submit my own vote in this case. So basically, if you guys want to vote, then we can. Okay. Where are the? And then you want to know the results out of the votes. Oh, over there. Okay, so for now, the main topic is how do we scale businesses that are not getting a big enough ROAS? I think there are multiple ways, but Quint, maybe you can take it away.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I think first of all, ROAS shouldn't necessarily be the main focus. That's like an open door nowadays for most of us, I think. But it's better to use like other metrics. If you have like a lot of returning customers, take a look at how to decrease your NCAC. If you don't have a lot of returning customers, try to look and analyze how you can optimize your marketing efficiency rate to actually look at the bigger picture. Some things like, for example, certain channels that aren't being used by all e-commerce, which I think are like pretty handy. Think about like affiliate tools like a Daisy.com or like an e-commerce platform like Boardroom. Those are like additional channels you can insert in your strategy to make sure that you are getting like more revenue. But at those tools, you're only paying a no cure, no pay. So if you're not actually selling something, you don't have to pay anything. Okay, Daisy.com has like a certain license fee per month of I don't know, 30, 40, 50 euros a month, but theoretically with one or two sales, you can already have it back. And what I also see a lot in my branded search term, for example, like my clients that are advertising or just having organic listings for Bold.com, people are actually looking in Google after to check out, hey, which kind of or they are searching for the brand with Bol in it. So then they're checking, and actually Bol created the search volume for my branded search terms, because a lot of people don't really trust Bol like fully regarding dropshippers and scammers and all kind of other weird things. So we're actually seeing a lot of people there just orientating, then are going to verify the product on the website. And are almost instantly buying it because were already happy with the product listing. They just wanted to verify the trust on the website. And if you have like reviews, good website, then that's like an additional few channels you can easily set up to increase your revenue, and of course also the ROAS or the MER. But I think it's also getting like a little bit, how do you say that? You need to think broader than only the Google ads, like Bol.com or Amazon or Basic.com are one things, but also start to think about how can we optimize the business proposition itself. Like to give like an example for it, we have like a client at Taskforce that sells e-bikes. Those are pretty expensive. It's not that you can buy them like for 100, 200 euros. Where they're optimizing on a POAS, not a ROAS, to making sure that we're being profitable at the first sale. However, people aren't going to come back every week, month, or day to buy a new e-bike because those things are pretty expensive.
Maybe battery if it breaks down, but yeah, that's it.
Yeah, exactly. But like the cargo bikes, like the Pakfietsen, biggest cargo bikes, yeah, those are pretty expensive, and a lot of like moms with children really want to have those. But if you want to buy one, it's like 5K. Well, not everybody you can just drop 5K out of their pocket to buy a new e-bike. So we're now actually in the conversation with the client to like set up a certain subscription model for those e-bikes, because people are actually willing to pay like 75, 100 euros a month to make sure they can ride that e-bike, but they're not willing to pay like 5K at the beginning. And in that way, you're actually optimizing for a returning monthly fee. And in that way, you're actually optimizing from ROAS to monthly recurring revenue. And the monthly recurring revenue, we all know it. Our agencies work with it. Spotify, Netflix, all the subscription models. Those are like one of the best models to have as a company because you're guaranteed of a certain monthly income.
Yeah.
Predictable, better as well if you want to sell your company in the future, because then you have like a subscription base. So I think it's also about how to think with the client to introduce, for example, some products that people can order every 6 months. I don't know if you're trying to buy a couch, for example, and they can sell you a cleaning kit. They'll send to you every 3 months to make sure for, I don't know, 20 euros. Those are like those little things that could generate a lot of more extra income. So it's more about, okay, thinking about the business proposition. How can you convert those one-time products into recurring revenue customers? And one of the things I also used a few months ago, it's really succeeded, I used it before, is like creating bundles. There are a lot of companies that are selling products loose, but if you take a look at your data, and if you have a web shop that's already here for a long time, you can check in Shopify or WooCommerce or whatever. You can check, okay, which products are being bought together. And if the products are already being bought together, you have a case, because then you can know, okay, these products are popular to buy together. Okay, let's make a bundle of it, give it a discount percentage. And then I noticed several times that people started buying more bundles instead of buying loose products. And those bundles they have a little discount, but they have a much higher average order value. It could be double, triple the initial product. And in that way, you can also create extra Google Shopping listings, of course, extra Meta dynamic product catalog. I don't know if it's still that same naming convention, but yeah, the bundles are great. And I think last one is invest in email marketing automation, because that's like a very nice way of communicating with your clients and your public without paying lots of money for getting traffic. Of course, the open rates aren't 100%, but if it's like every month a newsletter, or if you have clients that are really like kind of ambassadors, they want to try all your new products. If you're setting up new products in the catalog, just send an email to everybody and perhaps reward your most loyal clients that already bought 4 times this year. Hey, you already bought 4 times this year. These are our new products. Here you have your own personalized discount code of 20% to make sure those people will probably come back again. I think those are like all kinds of instruments you can use to check and optimize your client's business instead of the Google Ads account, instead of ROAS.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's a great way to approach it. So can you summarize in maybe 2, 3
Yeah,
small points?
yeah, sure. So expand your channels with marketplaces like Bol, Amazon, Daisicon. Try to think with your client and about the product assortment, how to expand it and how to convert one-time purchases into returning customers. Try to implement a subscription model if possible. Create bundles. Invest in email marketing automation.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I think in
Bianca, what's
addition
your
for
take?
yeah, for those bundles, I think multi-packs also work pretty well. We've done the same thing for a few clients as well in the pet sector, but also in the fashion industry. What we noticed was you have certain products that people are buying regularly. And ideally, it's really nice if you're able to implement a subscription model. So you can automate that part, but it's not something that works on every backend. Fortunately, we have a few clients that are working with Shopware, and that's taking a while already. For others, it's much easier to implement, but what we saw that products that people are buying irregularly, like a leash or maybe some clothes, we might want to buy new clothes every month, ideal, but not everyone wants to. But there are certain ways to increase the average cart value. And if you're able to do so, you can also increase your roles in your campaigns to make sure it's more profitable, or at least you're trying to get it in a better situation. Um, I totally agree. You should not only look at Google Ads. If Google Ads is the main driver of your revenue, you're at risk already because it's not healthy. We all know that Google can do what Google wants immediately. If it breaks down or you get new competitors in the auction, you're just blown away, which will have an drastic impact on your daily business. So I would definitely recommend to put on a checklist to see what are channels that are relevant for us, affiliate marketplaces, but especially marketing automation. You can also look into community building on socials like a broadcast channel or maybe in WhatsApp, just to send messages that people cannot respond to, but only like or click. What we see is that the open rates there are much higher compared to email, and especially for the younger audience, it's you have a notification on
Great.
your phone. So
Yeah, yes.
you're clicking that much more than you would in an email, especially with peak season. Um, I think how many emails do you get in Black Friday month?
Countless.
A
A
lot.
lot. So
Yeah.
try to see where your audience is, where they are, and what are different ways to pop up in their mind on their phone. Try to get out as much as possible. We also try to work with an automated broadcast channel for one of our e-commerce clients. People could subscribe, and then were getting push notifications on a weekly or monthly basis. They could choose between the two. And then we were just sending promotions, just like a folder we were getting weekly in the mail, like on the doorstep, but then just on Meta. And when they subscribed, it didn't cost us any money except the subscription cost for ManyChat to push the notifications. So that was
Nice.
also for the younger audience a really good one to just be there,
Yeah.
let them know what is much cheaper than it usually is, instead of focusing on the click and the sale on Google.
Yeah, it's
Nice.
quite funny. All the things you both said is mainly outside Google Ads added Google Ads interface or the Meta interface. So it's all like enhancing the product of the customer or
Yeah.
your own products, and see which channels are cheaper than the traditional lower funnel campaigns, I guess, and try to enhance your product or service compared to others. And I think that's what we like to do within Taskforce as well. We try to look into the business of our clients to look where we can optimize. It's not only to make sure the click is cheaper, but how can we reduce, for example, the return rate? How can we make sure we don't push the whole budget to products that we know we get a lot back to our warehouses? So if you can cut some costs in other ways, you can improve on the other side. So I think that's what you guys say is, I think nowadays, especially because everybody use the same campaign types, the same setups. I think you need to look there to improve and to gain a competitive edge to your competitors. So I think that's the main takeaway for today about the ROAS. If we look at the time, I think we can handle one topic. And that the main topic that focused the most was how to leverage AI without losing the quality of your services. I think, Bianca, how do you use AI within Maatwerk? And how do you?
In a lot of different ways, actually. It just started with playing around with ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, just to get information as a brainstorm body to identify, are there some blurry spots that I do not have on the first sight. I think that's still the way how we mainly use AI, instead of pushing it over the boundaries and then just let AI do it and we are just blindly implement everything it says. I think if we're looking in toolings, it's just everywhere. If you're talking about Hunch, it's there. If you're looking in the ads interfaces, I think every field you can fill in with headlines or descriptions is AI optimized, and it does a lot. I think it's really interesting to see how the platforms are adopting to streamline user behavior and where they interact with to improve your ad that you're serving on the platforms without the control of the human being by I just want to see the ad like this and it should be like this for everyone. Because Meta knows for what kind of ads I'm most likely to respond on. I think streamlining the workflows and processes is most interesting to do with AI at the moment, and just learning how we can make our work more efficient. How can we learn from all of the data that we have, but still validate it on our own side, the learnings that we have, and especially the context that we know from certain clients, the data that we are seeing, because just blindly focusing on what it says is not working for everyone.
Of course. Not yet, of course.
Not
Not
yet.
yet.
Not yet. We'll probably get there somewhere, somehow. But yeah, I
Maybe in a few
agree.
years.
Yeah, exactly. I fully agree with Bianca over here. I think the how do you say it? The stelling, the statement. Yeah, the topic. Thank you. It's like a little contra. It says how to leverage
Mhm.
AI without losing the quality of our services. I think you should always leverage AI to enhance the quality of your services. And I don't know, it shouldn't be necessarily the output of, of what you're saying, but like data analysis, doing that for like 20K products manually, it will take you like a day, perhaps more.
Forever.
And now you can do it. You can just upload it, write a few great prompts. You can let it run, and in 15 minutes you're already having some result. Is it perfect? No, but is it saving you like 90% of your time? Pretty much, yeah. Yeah.
Little disclaimer: you should anonymize your data, not implement all your client
No,
data in
for sure,
the database. So
for sure.
little disclaimer.
Yeah, nice. Always hash it, of course. Not just upload your email addresses at all in ChatGPT or Claude, and replace it with like product numbers or something, or just remove it and use another identifier. There are like several ways to do it, but like making a data analysis, but also of course everybody's using it for writing copy, writing ads, etc. Those were things like 4 years ago. I had to write those manually. And now you can just like give the branded guidelines, you can give the right prompt, the right instructions, let them write it, fine tune it yourself, cherry pick something, and it will always help you to make more efficient moves Instead of writing an ad with it took you normally 15 minutes, it's now gonna take you 2 minutes. So I don't really agree with the statement. I think it should always enhance the quality of your service, or at least the efficiency of your services. And with that way of optimizing, you can deliver more quality, because if you can work like 50% more efficient, you have some agencies would say, okay, if you can work 50% more efficient, we can take on 50% more clients. That's of course a statement they can make, but they can also say, hey, if you can work 50% more efficient, you have 50% more time to take that helicopter view, take a look at your client to make sure you can transform them from a ROAS to a monthly recurring revenue, for example. Because analyzing a website and thinking about introducing new products, those things also cost time. Those are not the things that companies are actually paying you for because you're only like a Google or Meta specialist, but somehow you have some additional time left to make those time investments.
Yeah, of course. And I think if how we implement it within Taskforce is we have a you worked on it the past few weeks together. We try to see how we can make sure that the base layer of the quality of our what we do within the campaigns should be always the same. And even if we didn't make those major changes, we know that on the baseline we do the things we normally have to. And I think that's a little bit quality assurance what we can do with AI and within scripting and automations from that part. And of course, we can use the time better, what you said, to create a helicopter view to deep dive in the main challenges of our clients. For example, how can we reduce the return rates or something like that? A little bit more on business level. And in this way, I think we are driving a little bit more to business consultants than, for example, meta specialist or Google Ads specialist. So I think that's the way we have to approach it in the upcoming time. And I think AI makes sure that we can make sure that the base layer is always okay. That's my point of view of that. So I think if we look at the time, I think we're gonna close it for now. I think we are sent over the information what we shared today. I will ask you, Quint, to send over the column information you mentioned.
Sure.
And if you have questions about Bianca's setup within how they do it within Maatwerk Online, I think the best approach is to talk to you on LinkedIn, and then you can set up an appointment or something like that. Maybe you can help each other out. So that would be great. And if you guys have other questions, of course, you can always contact one of us, and then we go from there. Next month, we are going to host another session that will be displayed soon. And for now, I guess I would like to thank you for your attention. And Bianca and Quint, thank you for your addition to the session. And I think we see each other soon.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.